Welcome to the Business Playground, where we discuss real business owners' stories and their tips and tricks with no filters. Welcome back to the Business Playground. This is your host, Jacob Odell, and today we have the honor of speaking with Ben. Now, Ben is an awesome individual. He is a senior here at Morningside University, but he does have his own business here called Boji Gutter Declutter. Now, Boji Gutter Declutter, I'm going to let him go into detail about the business, about how he got started, about the things that he's doing, his experience here at Morningside, and everything in between. But Ben, take it away.
Let's go, man. I'm glad to be here. To be here. So like Jacob was saying, I got my own business. I am a senior at Morningside. I guess direction with this, you want me to go? You want me just to
Your
tell the
introduction,
story
man,
about
yeah.
it? All right. So I'm a senior. I started Boji Gutter Declutter going into my junior year of college. So we've been up and going. This is our second full summer. So how we kind of got started was I was actually going through a bunch of injuries kind of at the time, and I was transferring from Wayne State, and so I didn't really know at that time what I wanted to do with my life. And so a little backstory, while I was at Wayne, I was graphic design, I was like architecture, like web and mobile app development, like web analyst, like all these other things, and I just kept bouncing around. I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And up to my transfer time, I was architecture the last semester, I guess you'd say. I was architecture, so my plan for transferring was to, go to like a big college, big university, I guess you'd say, and continue with the architecture plan. But yeah, when summer hit, I was going through some injuries with football and stuff, and in the portal, I wasn't really finding like any schools that were interested in taking me as an athlete as well. So
Tough time.
It all kind of lined up at the time, because with the injuries, I was able to like quit my actual job, and because I was supposed to be just recovering or whatever you want to call it. And so I quit my actual job, and my dad was kind of like, well, now what are you going to do? And I was like, I don't know. So I kind of was sitting in the I don't know state for, a week or two. And then finally he was like, well, why don't you just start like a gutter cleaning business? And I was like, oh, Dad Steffs, that's a good idea, actually. And I call him Dad Steffs. Obviously, our last name's Steffens, but he's Dad Steffs. I'm Ben Steffs. My brothers are Lil Z, Zach Steffs. It runs in the family. Yeah. But so I got started right away, kind of, in the same night. I think I came up with the logo, like the name, obviously. And I like a couple other things. I went and showed him, and he was like, dang, like you're actually going to do this. And I was like, yeah. But then when I started, I was like, we can't be only gutter cleaning, because like that just pigeonholes you so much.
Right.
And so a lot of the research right away went into kind of what do gutter cleaning businesses do, or what other services do people that offer gutter cleaning
Your
offer.
market research, comparative analysis.
Yeah, exactly. So kind of where we originally were at was going to be gutter cleaning, pressure washing, lawn mowing, and window cleaning. And like there's a lot of lawn mowing people in Okoboji, right? So that was kind of iffy on the beginning. And then we also thought maybe pressure washing wouldn't really be a good idea, just because like the insurance and liability, like it's pretty easy to like damage something if you kind of aren't careful with it. And so right away we kind of scratched those two. And then I knew I had to get someone else on board, because me going back to school in the fall, like I wouldn't be able to do the work.
Right.
And so I was able to get my cousin to kind of come in with me. And so we're actually 50-50 partners. But he does all the work back home, and then I just do all like the management, like the business aspect of it.
Got you.
Yep. And so when we were still determining our services, he thought that the window cleaning might even be a bad idea, just because like, hey, like it's a skill, like you have to hone this. And if we're going to try offering something like within the next month, we're going to have like 2 or 3 or however many days like of just practicing on our own house before we do like an actual job.
Sure.
So it was kind of like, are we sure we want to do window cleaning? And thankfully, that's where we kind of sat, and that's where we're at now is gutter cleaning and window cleaning. And
Are those the only two that you guys are running with right now?
well, we do offer other things. So like we offer solar panel washing and like roof cleaning. A lot of the time, the roof cleaning just comes with like a gutter cleaning.
Sure.
Most people, you know, they just want their roof like blown off, or like if they've got a lot of sticks, we'll bag it up and stuff like that. There's not a lot of solar panels in Okoboji, but I figured if you're window washing and with all the clean energy and stuff going on, like get on board sooner than later. And if it takes off, then you guys are there for it. So
Right.
Yep. So that's where we're sitting right now. And thankfully we did do the window cleaning because that's like been where the main bucks have come.
Really?
Yeah. And like the gutters are spring, fall for the most part.
Sure.
And
right.
the windows
leaves
are,
falling.
you know, the windows are April through September. I mean, we're still doing windows now and it's the end of September. So yeah.
And it's going well for you guys.
It's going pretty well actually. Yeah.
And
so
how's the relationship between you and, you know, your cousin that you have coming in here?
Well, so he was actually from Missouri originally, and so he moved up to Okoboji, I want to say like 2019, 2020 maybe.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I didn't really know him very well before that actually, like at all. And so, yeah, he's like 35, I think, somewhere in there. And, you know, he feels like a friend, man. He feels like a brother to me now. So it's close, yeah.
That's good.
Yep, the business aspect hasn't really taken away from the, you know, like family, obviously. So
that's awesome because like I know a lot of people who are afraid to go into business with family members, or I mean, in your case, you didn't even know the guy that well.
Yeah.
But that's a huge concern for a lot of people. And did you guys draft up, you know, a contract, operating agreement and stuff, or did you just kind of wing it?
Well, so actually, how it all kind of started with that was, like I drew up the stuff, and I would like show him very briefly, and he would look at it, and then we're just like, all right, we got that done. Like no signatures, like nothing like that. And we kind of figured like we wouldn't actually need any of it. Like, I mean, anyone else going into business, I totally recommend you actually get the contracts written up. Because I know there was a couple times where we were like, dang, we actually should have had something in place for that. But yeah, we didn't really do a whole lot of that at the beginning. We have filled in more along the way, but yeah, not originally. I think though, the biggest part with the beginning was, we were so like just focused on getting going that we weren't looking at like the mountain of things you have to do to get going.
Right.
It was more like, what's the next like 1 or 2 things that I have to do to actually get started, like get my first job. Like it's not, oh, I need to build a website. I need to like do this. It's just, what do I have to do to tell the next person who I am and how do I get that next job?
Yeah.
More
your
so
outreach.
Than,
that's a huge thing.
Everything. Yep.
So what was one of like the biggest mistakes or things that you wish you did differently at the start of the business or even now?
Oh, that's a good one. Honestly, probably just marketing more. I feel like everyone markets, and if the mattress store or the tire store or whatever it is down the street is spending money in marketing, like why shouldn't we? And that was kind of the biggest thing we avoided right away, was just because we didn't know exactly how we would grow at the time. We just kind of avoided that more so.
Did you guys have like the marketing knowledge at all, or?
You know, not really, because again, I was all those other majors before business, and I'm not saying you have to have a business degree to do business by any means, because you know a lot of the stuff you learn, you can learn online or in books. But like I hadn't done much research into anything like that at the time. We did do door hangers a lot, and then the rest of it was really just word of mouth and hoping people would give us a shot, man.
Yeah. So are you guys running, you know, Facebook, Instagram ads now? What is your marketing strategy?
Yeah. So right now, actually, we have a 10% off coupon running for fall gutter cleanings. I think I've got 2 or 3 different ads running on Facebook for that. And then we've got one in the newspaper with that as well. So our main target audience is on Facebook. So we aim a lot of like the actual advertising on Facebook, as to where the Instagram kind of has turned more into like a fun, like window washing, gutter washing like page.
Yeah, the satisfaction pages.
Yeah, like the satisfaction of the cleanings or whatever, to where, you know, we actually try growing a little bit of like a global following on there. I mean, it doesn't really benefit us at all in terms of who we're selling to.
Sure.
At least not yet, unless we come up with like products or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't really benefit us in terms of that. So it's kind of just something like fun to do on the side. And you know, if it takes off more than it has, then Instagram, you know, it's a second revenue stream. So
yeah, you could definitely monetize on there or figure something else out. I mean, there's so many things that you can do with the content.
Yep.
And we've talked about content before, of getting into it, and how maybe, you know, even window cleaning, you could do the content. I mean, you see people all the time doing the satisfaction videos.
Yeah.
And that's great and all, but from like a business perspective, that's not your target audience, you know? And I think that's where people get the confusion a lot, is they'll see these trendy things online, especially with the satisfaction things in your case, and they'll think that, oh my God, this video got 1 million views and it's just some dude cleaning a window.
Yeah.
They think that's awesome. However, that's not the target market that you guys are looking for.
Yep, exactly.
And especially being a local business where you're not trying to do outreach to that extent, you know, you are just trying to get the people that are in the neighborhoods that are your family-friendly Spider-Mans, you know, kind of deal.
Yep,
so
exactly.
That's the huge factor for a lot of people that they don't realize is it's not all about the global or national scale. It's about the people that are actually closest and who you're actually going to be impacting.
Yep, exactly, man. You hit it head on.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So, what is when you guys were starting the business, when you were going about it, did you tell a lot of people about the business? Like, I mean, of course, maybe like friends and family, but when somebody asked you, like, hey, man, what are you up to? Did you tell them that you started a business?
Yeah, I mean, every chance we got, it was telling people, like, who we were and, like, that we were doing something different now. So, yeah, like, all my family found out right away. And I'll be honest with you, not a lot of family or friends had us, like, clean their windows or gutters. Yeah. And, like, still to this day, we haven't really touched any family or friends. We've touched a handful maybe, but for the most part, I mean, it's just them telling their family and friends, or like the secondhand connections almost.
Yeah, their sphere.
Yeah, their sphere of people. Yeah, yep, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, and the reason why I ask you that is because, like, in my case, I haven't had family members ask me to take pictures of their homes. I haven't had family members ask me to, like, do podcasts or do anything of that sort. And, of course, totally different niches that we're in. But I asked that because it's weird that people think that their family members are usually going to be the first ones to buy something, but they might just to support you and stuff, but they're not going to be spending their money on, you know, Ben's summer project. And people have a misconception that, you know, family's going to be there to support you the entire way through, and that's just not the case.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is like emotional support type of thing. Yeah. But as for actual business support, I would say, at least in my case, I haven't really had a lot of the family support from that aspect. Yeah. But most of the time, it's just like, hey, like, I live here, and, you know, I've got a couple free hours. I'll wash the windows. It helps me hone my skills anyways. Sure. So, or after like one real big rainstorm, we noticed that our gutter wasn't flowing quite right, and we hopped up there and we just cleaned it out real quick. I mean, that's what we do, and that's where I stay. So it's just my way of, you know, giving back to my parents who raised me and gave to me for so many years. So
definitely. Yeah. I think you're spot on with that one. That's what I do. Yeah. I mean, have you guys looked at doing any other advertisements of like your vehicles and maybe even, you know, front yard signs where you ask people, hey, like, we'll give you a 10% discount if you let us put this sign in your front yard for X amount of days? Yeah.
So I guess actually, first of all, we did get a van, like a work van, probably like a month in, if even. Probably not even that far in. And we found a really good deal, and it was out in Iowa City, so we drove out. It was like 5 hours or so one way. We drove out. It was late that day we drove out. We probably didn't get back to town till like 3 a.m. or something. But yeah, we got a van like right away. And obviously we knew it was mobile advertising, so we got it decaled like right away. And so as for that, yeah, we've got the mobile advertising going.
Good.
And we've had like confirmed van like hits from the advertising, because we'll be in like Baumgars or something, and we'll have someone walk up and they'll be like, hey, like, what do you do? Like, who are you? Like, can you come do my gutters?
Yeah.
And it's like, heck yeah, man, we'll do that for you. Yeah. So, yeah, for the van, yeah, we've got that taken care of. And for the yard signs, we have had a couple people like offer to just have us put yard signs out.
Huh.
And that was kind of unusual, I thought.
Yeah.
But in terms of like actual marketing using it, we don't do anything like that right now anyways.
What about utilizing Google reviews?
We do Google reviews. I think right now we're sitting at like 12 or 13 maybe. But yeah, right away we tried hitting that really hard because we figured a lot of people check the reviews on Google, especially if they're finding us on Google.
Yes.
So yeah, we hit that really hard. And then we kind of took a break from it. Like this past summer, we really didn't hammer it as hard as we did the first year. But as of like 2 weeks ago, maybe, I made like a graphic that's like, hey, like, how was your service? Would you leave us a review on Google? Yeah. Like, here's the steps. Here's a QR code if you want to do this way. And that way, it kind of simplifies the asking standpoint to where we just send that after we get paid from them. So,
are you doing any incentive to get them to use the review link?
No. So actually, Google has like a very strict like no incentivizing for review policy.
Really?
Yeah. So like we thought we were gonna do something incentivizing, and after further research, it's like if you do it, you're bound to get banned. So we steered clear from that one.
Yeah. So how are you asking them? Are you just using that graphic?
It's literally, it's just literally the top left says, how is your service? The top right's got our logo.
Yeah.
And then it's just got, like, again, it lists our services. It's just a little smaller. And then across the middle, it has, like, just the 5 stars, like, subconsciously hoping that that's obviously what they give us. And then it's like, please leave us a review on Google. And then it goes through the steps. It's a 4-step process. It's like Google us. Click review, write your review, and then it's step 4. We put this one on for fun, but it's just smile because you made our day.
Yeah.
And so that's about as much as you can say in terms of like encouraging for reviews. So yeah, that's kind of how we just do it now.
I understand completely of why that's the case.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
And where do you guys see yourself in, the next year, the next 3 years? What's your go-to plan?
Yeah, so a lot of what we're focusing on next is just reinvesting in ourselves. I know we want to offer a couple more services and then just continuing to market and grow. Obviously after college, I'd like to continue doing business. I don't foresee myself getting any actual sort of like business job other than something I'm doing myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, just focusing on the continued growth and like where we're headed.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I think that's the best bet for you guys. I mean, are you thinking of expanding to different markets, maybe opening up another, business that does the exact same stuff, just repeated in another market?
Yep. So actually, I do have another business plan I'm working on putting together now. A lot of it that I'm doing right now is just kind of like the logistics of it. Obviously my graphic design background, so I'm focusing a lot on all the graphics, the business cards, the brochures, the door hangers, that type of stuff. In terms of Boji Gutter, we want to offer a couple more services. I think we will try getting back into the pressure washing that we originally scratched off. And then in terms of expansion, I think we're just going to continue focusing on the Okoboji area for now.
Gotcha.
There's a couple other window cleaning businesses that have popped up, and they've got their set of customers, and I think that obviously we don't want to focus on our competition, but I think when you believe what we believe is Boji Gutter, I think the obvious choice is to hire us to clean your windows.
Right.
So I think as long as you're giving off a sense of confidence and a sense of, you know, where you're going and you know, like, what you want to do to get there, I think a lot of the customers will begin to believe in, you know, kind of what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what are some of the tips, tricks, whatever you want to call them, that you use to get prospects? Or are you just kind of, hey, like they're approaching us and we just kind of say yes, get all the details and go do the cleaning? Or like how are you doing your outreach besides just normal advertising? How are you talking to people?
Yeah. So I guess, yeah, the Facebook and the Google are huge for us. We have had a couple people that have been really good at getting us referrals. Other small business owners. I worked for a guy who did lawn care, and that was the job I quit right before. And he was one of my first recurring customers. And along with that, he tells anyone that calls him asking for like a window cleaning, he sends them our way. And then one of our other really early clients was a guy who had his windows cleaned by another window cleaning company for like the last 20 years maybe. And that window company had dropped all their residential clients, like literally all of them in like the span of 1 to 2 years. And so he was out and he was looking for someone. And we were probably 1 month, maybe 2 months into business at the time. And we were telling him about it, and we were telling him about our story and stuff like that. And he actually called that business up and said, hey, like, if you continue to get calls for residential, send them this kid's way. Like, he's good. Like, he's new and like he's good at what he does. So if you get him, just send him his way.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, and so he was a really, really big help for us. And he's one of those guys that's kind of annual. He's not like a monthly guy.
Sure.
And so we still see him. We did him again this summer. We still see him, and you know, we're super grateful for what he's done. And you know, getting referrals and the word of mouth of like people that have like a stand with other people kind of thing.
Yeah.
Being able to get those people to talk about you is really powerful.
Yeah, and I preach this all the time. It's kind of my philosophy on business so far is, you know, utilizing other people's names and reputations.
Yeah.
Like that's just my thing. I tell everybody, especially being a college student, we have zero reputation.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, we do have a reputation, which is you're a college kid and you know nothing, and I'm better than you, kind of deal,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so, in that case and scenario, is like, yeah, you need to be leveraging every single person that you know.
Yeah.
And the people that they know, because their next door neighbor may need their windows and gutters cleaned too. And they have no idea you exist. But your neighbor or their neighbor can tell them about it. And so just leveraging other people's names and reputations can skyrocket you. It's insane.
And in terms with that, it's almost like also you want to be careful with it because you don't want people to begin to think you're like using them for extra business. So like doing it in a sympathetic or empathetic way rather than like will you talk about us? Like we need you to talk about it. Like we don't need you to talk about us, but like
they will.
If you will, or if you wouldn't mind, or you know, wording it in a way that's not aggressive.
Well, even so, if you guys are providing a great service, a great customer care, like that stuff sells itself. And that's the great thing. A lot of businesses are overlooking, and they're also, bigger companies are now going back to the drawing board. That's what we're seeing right now. And like my market research is we're seeing a lot of big companies go back to the drawing board and really dial in on their customer service.
Yeah.
And they're now realizing that, you know, marketing on social media is very saturated right now. So the alternative is to regroup and go back to the actual customer care, the actual internals of somebody communicating face to face with another person.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the big thing that we're seeing, or that I'm seeing. And that's a focus that I think you guys should do. That's what I'm focusing on right now, is making sure customer care, easeability, accessibility, the flow of how everything is done is jot down to a T, where they just sign in, book, you do the service, here's the invoice, great, have a great day. We'll see you in, you know, a month. We'll see you in a year.
Yep.
And they'll talk about you.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I totally agree.
I think that a lot of people have that misunderstanding, and I'm glad that you're figuring that out too.
Yeah,
because it's good.
Yep.
And I want to go more into like your personal stuff too, not
Okay.
like the nitty gritty of your life, but
Okay.
within a business, it's not the business that's growing, it's you as an individual that's growing, right? So if you look back at your life a year ago or 2 years ago, right, when you started the business, and you think about the person that you were then compared to the person you are now, you see this drastic difference.
Yeah.
And your brand, the way you speak, your maturity level, and it's amazing to see. And I've talked about it with multiple people and stuff, but I want to hear your end of that, of how do you think that you have matured over business, within business and personally?
Yeah. So, I guess a lot of who I am now dates back to high school and kind of what I was doing in high school, which was focusing on mindset. And I think a lot of people forget about that throughout high school and college because, you know, like these are your years, like this is the best time of your life. But if you don't focus on yourself and you don't focus on your mindset, like you're not going to build upon that the rest of your life. And, you know, it's never too late to start doing that. But that was kind of my starting point of who I've become, was being able to focus on those things early. And, you know, in terms of changing over the last couple of years through business, I would say the biggest thing that's kind of changed me or like formed me is I'm a little bit more like perception, like wise, I guess you would say. Like I understand a little bit better how people might view me if I like say a certain thing or like act a certain way, for example. Like I've always been like a super like positive person. Like I don't think there's very many negatives in life, and if there are, there's something good to come out of them. And I think just remembering that and remembering there's so much to be grateful for has just kind of really been like the powerful thing pushing behind me and behind, you know, my character growth.
I love it, man. You're a positive guy.
Yeah.
I mean, you walk in every day, Mr. Sun.
Mr. Sun, so, yeah. That one's kind of started more recently. I kind of got on the, you know, SpongeBob jokes a little bit, but I guess the joke for the listeners here is that in the SpongeBob song, it's the best day ever one. It starts by Mr. Sun came up and he smiled at me, and then he said it's gonna be a good one. Just wait and see. So it's just kind of, you know, every day is like the best day. It's the day you've got, and so, you know, Mr. Sun came up, man, and he said it's gonna be a good day.
You tell me every single day, so I love it, and I think that's a mindset that a lot of people don't have yet. And me personally, I've seen that growth over the past year, and I've only been out here a year. And the amount of stuff that I've done, the amount of people I've met, and the things that I've shifted in my brain is like crazy to me. I never thought I'd be doing it that quick. And people think a year is so long, but a year goes by like that.
Right.
And
do you think that the Midwest like culture has kind of made that difference too, by any means?
100%. I think it was more so of me getting out of LA, out of the big city vibe, out of the bustlingness, and coming out here and seeing the different side of, I mean, not even a different side of the world, but like just a different culture.
Right.
And giving me the opportunity to like take a step back and reevaluate my life. And it was like the perfect timing of the stuff I was seeing on social media, and like TikTok was blowing up, and I got off of like the whole comfort zone side of TikTok. And now like all of my social media platforms are like helped rewire my brain with individuals who I want to be, who I want to aspire to be. Like I don't pay attention to any more the bikini models that are on TikTok. I don't care about anybody dancing. I don't care about anybody talking negative. I don't care about, you know, if you're right or left. Like it doesn't matter to me anymore. Like if you scroll through my social media feeds, it's all just motivation, talking about business, talking to other business people. And it just completely shifted my mindset on that route. And I will say this, that people underestimate the algorithm, and they blame algorithms for things that they are in control of. And they say, you know, the reason why I always see all these hot girls on my Instagram or my TikTok is because of the algorithm. And it's like, nah, dude, it's because you keep liking it. Therefore, the algorithm knows you like it.
The algorithm is on what you interact with.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for anybody that's listening and they want to get off of that stuff, either go delete your account and start a new one and start fresh and go to all the hashtags and follow the hashtag of like business, entrepreneurship, and build it up that way so you only see that stuff. Or the alternative is you go and every single time some piece of content that you don't want to be associated with anymore, don't like it, don't comment, don't share it with anybody within the app or externally, and then scroll right by it.
I think, I don't know if it's Instagram or TikTok, but I think Snapchat for sure has an option where it's like, I don't want to see this type of content anymore.
Yeah, the unsubscribe button.
Yeah, there's that type of stuff too that I think you can take advantage of.
Yes, 100%.
So, yeah.
And people, I actually just started this thing. Have you heard of Iman Ganji? I always butcher his last name, but you should look him up. So I started this thing about a week and a half ago called Monk Mode. And he talks about monk mode, and it's not like what it sounds like of like being a monk.
Yeah.
More so of what it is like the mindset shift of, meditate just 10 minutes a day, read, journal, like, kind of get your habits going. And the reason for it is to rewire your brain. Of like, get your mind out of the girls, out of trying to be in the comfort zone, trying to, impress everybody around you. And dude, the past week has probably been like the best mental week of my life of just business oriented, talking to people and having confidence in myself to do things. And that was a huge thing is like, I've always been a confident guy, but I've never been, like me, how I am now, I should say. So, I mean, that segues into my next thing of like, how do you always stay super confident? Or, I mean, are you confident? You seem confident.
Yeah. So, again, man, I think it's just the years of the mindset and just kind of been drilling myself that, this is who I am. A lot of it, too, is I like to think of myself as like, a pressure person, a pressure player.
Yeah.
And so when things get really hard, I'm at my best because I know that, I'm a religious guy and, I know that God's got me. So when things get hard, I know I'm at my best.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it is just believing that. Like, that's the first step is you have to believe that is who you are. And then there's a lot of little things along the way you can do that help impact that. But again, I think it's believing it and then it's just continuing to build on that belief.
Yeah.
That, that is who you are.
Yeah. And you got to take the baby steps.
Yeah, totally. And I've always been a really, really big guy of all choices matter. And so even like the seemingly insignificant, thing, someday those little choices will add up and it will be just something monstrous that you have to make a choice about.
Yeah.
And so you never know if you're making the right little choices every day, then someday that really big choice that you have to make, it won't be as hard as it would be if you're making really bad choices every day.
Yep. Yep, Ben. Yeah, it's exactly how you should look at it. Let's go. Mr. Sun. That's how you do it, bro.
Yes, sir.
So as we come to like the end of this kind of thing right here, to the end of the podcast a little bit, I want to know who is like a person, mentor that you've looked up to or somebody that you would actually want to have a conversation with.
Oof, that is good. Obviously the easy people that have like helped me along the way are, my dad, and again the lawn care business owner that I worked for. In terms of someone that I would speak to and like would like to learn more from, man, I don't know. Elon Musk probably.
Yeah.
Dude, he's so fascinating.
What would you ask him?
I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
I'd ask him something. I don't know exactly what,
right.
But I think he'd be the guy to talk to. I guess I've never really thought about that though either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always thought about like people who I'd meet, what I'd ask them,
Uh-huh.
kind of stuff I'd pick their brain about. Like if I was talking to Elon Musk, I'd be like, dude, what the hell are you doing, man? Like,
are we gonna get to Mars, man?
yeah. Well, like not even like on that end of more so of like, what the hell are you doing?
Oh,
like you as a person
on a daily basis type of thing. Yeah.
Well, because I feel like it's so simple. Like life is so simple. People get that really confused. Life is so simple.
Yeah.
But like you look at this guy, and he's got billion-dollar companies, multiple of them, mind you, and how are you doing that? How?
What does it take to get there, man?
Like he always talks about like his work ethic, and he's like, yeah, dude, I just work. I love work. Nobody else should be doing work like this, but I just love work, and I have a goal, I have a dream, an ambition, and I'm going to, put us on Mars or whatever like he wants to do.
Yeah.
And you look at that and you're like, dude, like you were just a kid my age, not too long ago.
Yeah.
And now you're doing this shit.
Yeah.
How do you get there?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the stuff I would ask him, and then I'd dive deeper into that. But,
yeah, right.
Nonetheless, that's where I think I'd go with that conversation.
Yeah. But, hats off to Elon.
Yeah. And if you could have dinner with 3 people that are dead right now.
Oh man.
Who are you having dinner with?
Oh man. Well, the first one would be Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. Valid.
Obviously, yeah. Again, for religious, but 2 other people. Steve Jobs.
Okay.
For sure. And George Washington.
That's very similar to my stuff, man. I think that'd be really cool.
It would be.
The Steve Jobs would be like, yo, dude, how you build a business?
Are we having a dinner? Are they coming back like now for like this time, like 2021, 2022? Or are we like going
in their time
to their time?
I'd say that like now, because I feel like their perspectives would change from like what our stories were. Yeah. But like at the same time, maybe they could talk about, like you guys could have a discussion about what it was like during their time.
Yeah.
And actually find out real information. Like with Jesus, like you could actually find like the authentic, coming straight from the source information about the past.
Yeah.
And then he could also interpret the future or like the present of what you guys are doing right now. But like Steve Jobs, I mean, you can read up about all of his past.
Yeah, right, totally. George Washington, man.
Yeah.
What was your vision for this country?
Yeah, literally.
Because a lot of it today is being so twisted.
Exactly.
But we're not taking sides here.
Yeah, no, I'm not either. All right, and the last question I got for you is, I got a couple that are pretty good.
All right.
But I think I'm going to go, all right, what makes you feel just utterly inspired to continue doing what you're doing today and inspired to continue doing it for the future?
In Okoboji, it would be just continuing to make my home beautiful and offering things that I think would be nice. But aside from that, it would be just making my younger self proud kind of thing. Like, I look back and if I were to meet my 10-year-old self today and tell him like, man, we go to play college football, we start a business while we're in college, like all these things, like these lists of things that I've done that my 10-year-old self would have been mind blown probably. Yeah. And I think just continuing to make myself happy and joyful and my younger self proud would be like the good starting point for just wanting to continue to do things.
Hell yeah,
and
man.
Again, just also, my love for life and my joy for enthusiasm. I think there's so many places you can make a real impact in this world, and business is one of them, man. Like, yeah, it's you get to meet a lot of people and you get to have a lot of really small, minuscule conversations with people, man. And some people are going through things that, you don't actually understand or you might not know about. But having those moments with people, it's special. It's precious.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that.
Let's go.
So, all right, Ben. I appreciate you coming here on the show with us today. And for everybody that's watching, that's listening, where can they reach out to you if they want to know any tips, tricks, advice, or if they just want to go meet you for coffee?
Yeah, man. So, Facebook page, Instagram page are both just Boji Gutter Declutter. Phone number?
Nah.
Not my phone number, no.
They can get all the information on your website.
Yeah.
And stuff.
We've got a website too, yeah. It's BojiGutterDeclutter.com. So
Right
if you really just look that up, you'll find us.
Yeah. Yeah, the number's on there too.
Yeah. That is true.
So if you're really interested, go reach out to Ben. He is an awesome guy. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah.
Definitely been one of the very few individuals that I've connected with out here on a business level. And so I appreciate you always having a positive attitude and mentality coming towards me and always telling me, good morning, Mr. Sons. So
Absolutely, man.
that's all for us today on the Business Playground. Thank you guys so much for coming and watching today.
Yes, sir.